What's going on, everyone?
What's
It
up?
is Wednesday. It's 7 o'clock. It's a new year. New year, new me.
Still feel like shit.
You didn't get the new you part, did you?
No. Dude, I've been
I already broke all my New Year's resolutions, if anybody's wondering.
man. I've just been dying for the last week, and it's just not going away.
You got to know what you
I
got.
drank some weird stuff though that might help.
I don't think anyone in the history of medicine ever going, I drank some weird stuff and I'm fine now.
It was like Theraflu, the hot kind where you have to warm it up with an Alka-Seltzer.
That's so gross.
It was like with an Alka-Seltzer, and I mixed them, and it says do that and drink it. But it was.
Did you put alcohol in it at least?
No, it was disgusting.
That's fucking gross.
I don't know. It was.
That's
like
pretty gross.
Tea, but
I can't do hot remedies.
Not even hot tea.
No, I'm not a big tea guy.
I love fucking tea, dude. Hot tea was funny. Oh,
no, I can't do it.
It helps.
All right, what's up, everyone? How are you?
Take two.
Welcome to the Nerd Informer podcast on the Oracle Talk Radio Network. Everywhere you find your podcast, you will find us, whether you like it or not.
Oh,
And
that's right.
what are we doing today? I found this show on
Tubi.
It's on Tubi, but it's on Amazon too. You can get it. I think you gotta rent them though. It's called Missing 411, and it's just there's like 8 different ones, and they talk about like UFO appearances and or disappearances and abductions and just people being abducted. And the craziest one and it's written by a guy named David Paulides. He's a former police detective, and he like went and started just investigating weird cases, and he just started writing books, and now they do like
He's like pretty popular too, because there's like 9 books.
Yeah, there's like 8 or 9 of them. So yeah, he's a pretty popular guy. But so I've been watching them, and one of the cases that I came across makes me crazy just to listen to, because on the surface, when you talk about it, it sounds like just a normal, okay, this guy went to the woods and got lost. But then when you dig into it and you realize like who the guy was and what he was doing, and it's a fucking crazy story. The guy's name is Thomas Messick. He's from northeastern New York, near Albany, I guess. And he's 82 years old, or he was at the time. And this is in 2015.
Not far away.
Yeah, so you're talking 10 years, 9 years, 10 years. So he goes hunting with 7 people, 4 older guys and 3 younger people, one of them being his son. And so they drive up to a new spot that one of his partners found called Lily Creek Road. It's near Brent Lake in northeast New York. And it's supposed to be like a super quick hunt, 2 hours in and out, just killing some time, basically, late afternoon. But the way they were doing it, the way they were hunting was weird, because it seems like super unsafe to me.
And it's like no one would ever do it.
Like, I mean, I guess it's probably a hunter thing, but I'm not a hunter, so I don't know. But it seemed like a really odd way to hunt. So 4 of them, they're on a hill basically, but they go around the hill. So 4 guys go spread out about 100 yards apiece, and they go into the woods about 30 to 40 yards. And then the 3 younger guys went around the other side of the hill, basically. And the idea was that the older guys were going to stay put, and the younger guys were going to walk through the woods and push any animals towards the older guys, the ones that were Thomas and his other guys.
Super unsafe.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want somebody shooting a deer that's between me and them. You know what I mean? Like,
that's exactly it.
Because they're older dudes, right? So I don't know. Maybe they're in good shape, but maybe they got a little Parkinson's setting in or something. Maybe their aim isn't quite as good as it used to be. I'm just saying. At 82 years old,
maybe someone told them to grudge.
Maybe. So the 3 younger guys walk through the woods. They don't see anything. A couple hours goes by. They all have radios, so they're all in touch with each other. Now, mind you, they're only 100 yards away from each other in the woods. So that's
not long.
And And if you think if you look at the woods, if you think there's deer running around and stuff, it's probably not a super dense woods. You know what I mean? Like you could probably see somebody 100 yards away, or at least hear them. You know what I mean? Like you'd be able to shout at them and hear them. So they all get back to the truck, and Thomas never shows back up. So they all go back in the woods, try to find him. They radio him, nothing. They start shooting their guns off to get his attention, nothing. He's just gone. And now, mind you, when they went into the woods, they sit in a spot and they wait. Like they don't walk around, they don't go meandering through the woods.
And what would be the point of his position in that? You know what I mean? Just to sit there?
Well, they're going to be the ones that take the shot.
No, I'm talking about the one guy by himself, like the guy that went missing. He was off in the distance. He wasn't he the one split up with it from everyone?
Well, they were all split up, but they were all about 100 yards apart.
Yeah. Which,
again, in the woods isn't very far, and it's certainly within shouting distance.
Well, they did say they heard a weird noise.
One of the guys did say he heard a weird noise. But the weird part comes in after you get to the point where you realize who this guy was, right? Mm-hmm. So at this point, the guy's just gone. They've searched. They 3 guys stayed at the truck till overnight, just in case he wandered back. And you know what I mean? And so the weird part comes when you realize this guy was an ex-ranger or a former airborne ranger, right? He's a hunting instructor. He was currently at the time, and a survival instructor. Like this dude was a badass. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't just some old guy wandering through the woods. Like he
knew his shit.
Yeah, like he was kind of a badass. Like if I was going to be lost in the woods, I'd rather him be there than some 35-year-old stockbroker from New York. You know what I'm saying?
My only guess is if he had a heart attack, because he was old as hell. You would still find him.
You'd find a body.
No, within a day or two.
And the map that they put up, I wish I could download it and put it up, but the map that they put up, it's not a very large area where they were. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was probably, as far as they were spread out, 400 yards long. That's probably how deep the woods were. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't a huge area where they were hunting. So, he didn't just wander off.
Yeah. No, he didn't.
So he, and he had one, he did have one eye because I guess he had some gunpowder blow up in his face. Yeah, some gunpowder blew up and took his eye out. But he's still probably more badass than like half the people that you would take into the woods with you. You know what I mean?
That's who you trust. Like, this guy's gonna get me to fucking where I need to go.
And he's been hunting his whole life. People that hunt and go into the woods that have hunted more than one time are usually pretty savvy. You know what I mean? Like they have an understanding of what they're doing. They're not just some 18-year-old kids going out there hunting. These are grown men that have been doing it for decades. They're all older.
The weird part is, like, if he was hunting, let's just say he did have a heart attack or a medical episode, don't you think he would probably be thinking that I need to shoot my gun?
Shoot your gun, hit the radio button, you scream out. I mean, I don't know, something. Yeah, but shoot the gun off. Like that's gonna catch somebody's attention.
Unless someone's not telling the truth.
Well, I mean, the one interesting thing was that the FBI doesn't usually typically investigate adults disappearing. Usually they have like a special special criteria for missing children and stuff, and that's mainly for like people that are trafficking kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And all they really said was something isn't right.
Mm-hmm.
And they told the wife like something that doesn't make sense here. And they said that they just monitored the situation, and by monitor the situation they write a report to the behavior analysis people. And all they really do is like look for common themes in disappearances. You know what I mean? Like if 10 people go into the woods and they all disappear in one certain spot or, whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's what they're looking for.
Wasn't there a guy in the same area that went missing the same?
There was another guy
in New York, right?
Yeah, like 40 miles south of him. Fred, I forget what his name was. It was Fred something, but it was very similar. He went into the woods and just never came back out.
Same. The guy knew his shit.
Yeah, he was an outdoor guy,
When you look at them, you can kind of tell. Like, God knows.
Yeah, I mean, you're in that area. Those people up there, they're mountain people, kind of like they're small towns. You know what I mean? And you're in an area where everybody hunts.
And then give or take, you give any of those kind of people, like you're stuck outside for a day, they're gonna know what to do to make it. I mean,
well, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
cover.
A day or two in the woods lost isn't going to affect this guy. You know what I mean? Unless he's obviously hurt. But again, you're talking about a situation where they find nothing. They find nothing. Not a scrap of clothes, not his hat, not a gum wrapper, not his gun. Like, I could understand, okay, a bear getting you maybe and dragging you off, but I mean, you're going to find your gun. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, because the bear would be making, the bear would probably, they don't just kill you, they rip you apart while you're alive. So you would see blood if it was a bear. It would rip you apart. Well, unless it dragged them, but like, what are the chances of dragging them like that?
But even still, like, your gun's going to be somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not that big. And the way they searched, the grid that they laid out,
dude, that was like
fucking ridiculous.
Dude. They did a good job at searching. Like, how
they roped off like every 10 feet section basically, and like the searcher would walk, shoulder to shoulder basically.
Yeah.
Until they cleared that area, and then they would move to the next one. And the guy said it looked like spider webs in the woods because there's so much rope, area roped off there. But that's their search grid was fucking pretty impressive for
extremely
for these type, But and they're all hunters, you know what I mean? Like, they're all from that area, so they all kind of get it,
Yeah.
They had the Air National Guard out, they had the local sheriff helicopters up, they all searched.
It's just weird on how it happened, and it happened multiple times, not just once, because that's like a disappearance. Like, that makes me think there was foul play involved with someone that did something. Well, there was nothing.
The one thing I noticed about the interview that they did with like the son and a couple of the friends is that they weren't really
upset.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, my poor father. It was like they were just kind of matter of fact.
That guy kind of had a smile on his face the whole time too.
Yeah, like the one friend seemed kind of like bummed about it, but everybody else was like, yeah, he went missing, whatever. And I'm like,
he made a weird noise though.
That's that's an odd thing to say. And even the noise that he described was really odd. He said it was like a trap closing.
He said a swoosh or
swoosh or something that he couldn't even describe the noise because of. It's just, I guess it's not, in the woods. If you're in the woods for so long, you get an idea of what kind of noises you hear,
Oh, yeah.
It's obviously not a noise that he's heard.
And someone said like a mouse trap or something, right?
Yeah, like a trap shutting or a slamming or something like that. Really I'm sure they do like bear traps and shit up there. Like the ones that they have bury under the fucking leaves, and they cut your foot off and you step on them.
Oh god, dude!
You imagine stepping on one of those where you're just cruising through the woods, minding your own business,
and it snaps your foot off.
You basically turn into Saw at that point. You gotta cut your foot off, and
I wouldn't have a problem doing it.
I mean, well, I don't know.
I don't think I would. I don't. You just have to get past the tendons.
Well, and on the bone and everything else, so you gotta.
Well, I'm just saying if that thing snapped your.
Well, that's true. If your leg is broken, all you gotta do is get past. Yeah, you'd have to do it so fast, though. Oh man, you imagine?
That would suck.
The only other weird thing that they noticed when they went into the woods, like when the investigators were talking about, they didn't see any animals anywhere. Like, there were no deer, there were no squirrels. Like, there was nothing. Like, they legit found no wildlife to speak of that would even
be worth hunting or
would be worth. Yeah.
Squirrels.
Yeah, it would be worth going into the woods. That's what I found weird, because even the investigator that was talking about it even said, like, it's kind of weird that nothing even was in that area.
And wasn't that a new area that someone knew?
It was one of Tom's friends found it and said, yeah, let's go up here and check it out. They'd never been there before. It was new to them.
Okay.
And it was down a long dirt road. You're talking, it was like a 2-mile dirt road or something.
Yeah.
But
good hunting area is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it dead ends to a lake. So you got all the wildlife hanging around the lakes and stuff, because, they need fresh drinking water and stuff.
That would just
so you would think there would be animals.
It would suck for like the family that, that cares about him. They're like, where the fuck did he go? You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing. You would think if I was being dragged away or something, I would pop a shoe off or something, just so there's something.
Yeah. And one of the guys talked about like the dirt road, maybe somebody picked him up or something. But he's not a guy that would have wandered off. You know what I mean? Like,
in a mission.
And they said he was pretty clear-headed. He wasn't, he didn't have dementia and all that stuff, unless he hit it really well. Because everybody was like, no, he was pretty like. I mean, he was even when he disappeared, he was still a hunting instructor. Like he was still doing things.
Yeah.
Up until the day he disappeared. And yeah, he's an older guy, but it's not, the guy's an ex-ranger and everything else. He's
unless he got, go another route. He hated his life and he wanted to go to Mexico.
Maybe. Maybe.
Now, people go missing all the time on purpose, but it's not to. I mean, it happened again 40 miles away.
Well, when you look at people when you look at like Alaska, people, like what do they say? Like 16,000 people a year go missing from Alaska. But a place like that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like it's just a giant ball of vast nothingness. You know what I mean? Like that makes sense.
You're dealing with fucking carnivores and like wolves that are the size of me times 2.
Yeah, you got animals that have never seen a human being there. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like they don't even know what you are.
Yeah. Not in upstate New York.
No, well that's I mean that's just it. Like there's nothing in upstate New York that's that's crazy. It was an interesting thing they were talking about, though. They were talking about like,
and even if, go ahead.
They were talking about the kind of coincidences, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, and a bunch of different missing people. And they talk about like the point of separation, like you and I go out in the woods and we split up, like that's your point of separation.
Yeah.
The time of disappearance. They say most common time for people disappearing is mid to late afternoon. Which I guess,
that makes sense.
If you're hunting all day or something, sure.
The weird part is even if it was an animal that got him, he didn't shoot it.
Well, that's just it.
And the thing is, he's out there in the wilderness, very quiet. So you're observing and you're hearing. So you would hear a 500-pound bear, 1,000-pound bear come up on you. There's no hiding that.
No.
So,
and I mean, from what they said, they were close enough to even see it. Like, if a bear approached one of the other guys that were, 100 yards away, they probably would have seen it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, or take off running or something. And they scoured the area. And they would have, if it was dragging them, they would have seen drag marks.
Right, drag marks. And the other guys that were set up waiting, like they literally just found a rock and sat on it until the other hunters pushed whatever, the prey through for them to take the shot.
I'm gonna go with they were all in on it.
I mean that's
something didn't rub me right on those couple interviews that I saw. I'm like, they're a little too happy. So
that's what I'm telling you, dude. That's the one thing I know. Usually, like you see people crying or even sad or like
a little upset. This guy was like he's going. He's like this.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
Have like a deep thought or something. You know what I mean? Have that moment of reflection, like, man, my father's gone or whatever. No, you didn't see any of that, dude. Like this. No. The main guy that was interviewed was his son Rob, and he was just like very matter of fact about everything. Like, yeah, he went in the woods. He was, in good shape, whatever. And that was it, man. Like that was really
that was you, wasn't it, buddy? But
I mean, I don't think they had any money. Kind of where, just.
Turns out it was his stepdad.
What are you doing to my mommy?
Or was it an alien?
See, I'm going with the Bigfoot thing. I'm thinking like a Bigfoot came out, snatched him, went back through his hole, and gone.
Nah, I would believe alien over Bigfoot.
But all the links that they were talking about, like between people missing, is wild. Like they talk about boulders in a field. There's always boulders around. There's always near water, a weather event like rain or snow or something, illness or disability. Canines can't track them or lose the track very quickly, or they're found in a previously searched area. That's the most surprising to me, is because if they found this guy in one of the areas that they searched, something would be wild, because they searched this thing like crazy,
like they comb that thing, dude.
Yeah,
like the entire area. They showed the grid, and it doesn't make sense.
They talk about missing clothing, but this guy didn't even missing. They didn't even find any clothes.
Well, that, and he didn't bring a backpack. Probably it's probably just a rifle with some fucking.
Yeah, well, they were, 100 yards from the truck. Like, what did you need? You weren't camping out there. And then they talk about like unknown cause of death. Like a lot of the times when they find them, they can't pinpoint the cause of death or geographic clusters, which is interesting because they go on more about other missing people in the show, and they go to Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Oh yeah,
which a woman, Audrey Kaplan, 75 years old, went mushroom gathering with her husband and got separated.
Dude, did you see how far she went up north?
Like, that's what I'm saying.
That was a little weird.
They said she was in really good shape for like a 75-year-old woman, but
she even made a base camp. You know what I mean?
Well, they found her camp like all torn apart. But if she's, I don't know what kind of mushroom she's hunting, but
morel mushrooms.
Maybe she found a couple that were.
It had to have been morel mushrooms for sure, and ayahuasca. But
she's out there just doing ayahuasca by herself.
The weird part is how she was found.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like
so they find her naked in a creek, miles away from what was it, like 9 miles away or 5 miles away? Yeah, naked in a creek,
and her face is touching the water.
Yeah, and they said that the one thing that was weird that everyone thought was weird was the coroner made an odd ruling. They said that there is no physical evidence of hypothermia. However, the official cause of death is hypothermia. I'm like, how do you? What? I realized you probably didn't go to fucking like a John Hopkins or something medical school, but you gotta give me better than that, bro. Like you can't just tell me there's no evidence that she got shot, but we think she got shot.
But like how she was laying down and her face in the water, like I'm sorry, like why would someone think that's believable that she drowned?
Well, right. Well, they didn't say it was drowned. They said it was hypothermia.
Yeah, I'm saying, but just like maybe that's the appearance they were trying to give when unless she just died.
But why would she be naked?
That's what I want.
It makes no sense. And there was no injuries to her body.
Yeah.
And the coroner also said her face wasn't in the water, but you could see from the pictures, like she was clearly fully in the creek.
Water. Yeah.
Yeah, like she was pretty well in the creek. But that's one that they found, they found shit. They found her camp and, or whatever was in her bag. I don't know if it was actual camp or not, but it looked like she made a camp.
Oh, it totally looked like a camp.
It totally looked like a camp that she had made.
And did she just get lost and just decided to make a camp? Like, good for her on that one, because most people won't. They'll just keep.
Well, I wonder why they separated. Like, I don't know. They never really said why her and her husband separated on the trail, whether they did it by accident or, I'm going to go look over here, you go look over there, and I'll meet you back here. And she just never came back. They never really specified.
Yeah.
But,
and like, they probably should have questioned the husband more, but. Like, why did you?
Yeah, they didn't really go too deep into her case.
And that's the weird part, is because it's like such a weird one too, and how it happened. And then the husband's like, "Yeah, I was just down the little ravine right there."
Yeah, like where was he when
that's what I want to know?
Because they found her like how many days later? Like 5 days later, I think they said.
Yeah, someone stumbled upon her.
Yeah, it wasn't right away.
It was another like person, probably mushrooms. And it's just weird that the husband wasn't really like, maybe he just didn't want to do the interview, but
maybe. But keep staying in Santa Fe. There's another guy that was a little bit. It was a 2009. Mel Nadal. He disappeared on Elk Mountain, and he had an injury. He had hurt his knee earlier in the week, like stepping in a gopher hole or something. So like his knee was kind of messed up. But so he wasn't going deep into the woods with 2 other people. They went in, and he went for a tree line that was like 100 or 150 yards away.
Yeah.
So he went for that tree line, and his buddies kind of went further in, and they came back, and he was just gone. And this guy was bow hunting, and he had a pistol on him. They said he was heading in search and rescue, brought in canines, which they led him right to where he said he was going. They led him right to like the area where he said, "Hey, I'm going over here," and it just stopped. Yeah, they just lost the trail right there. So he's bow hunting. He's got a handgun. There's no sign of any weapons anywhere. They never find a bow. They never find an arrow. Nothing. They never find anything. It's
happens
crazy.
It happens a lot. Like as much as it doesn't, I mean, it's years apart, but like that's still a lot. And it's the mystery behind that. Like, where the fuck did he go?
Yeah, and I mean, you get into this kind of stuff in like Alaska. There's
that's true,
thousands and thousands you can talk about, but again, it's a different area. It's a different region of the world that they don't. It's not like Santa Fe, New Mexico. Like,
yeah, that's exactly it. Like,
and they never found anything. Just, I mean, it just doesn't make. It's just, it's mind blowing. That's the craziest thing to me. Is that it's just mind blowing. That they never found anything. And they even, and in this case, they even said like it was really weird they didn't find anything because of what he was carrying, what he had, and he even had a GPS in his truck. Now, listen, if I'm going hunting and I have a GPS in my truck, I'm taking it with me. Like,
like just in case.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, kind of an insurance policy you already paid for,
Exactly, and it's.
But he was only going a few hundred yards, so. Mm-hmm. Why would you need it? You know what I mean? Like, I understand that mentality too, but
I wonder if like people go there nowadays on the one sites that everyone goes just missing, and now they're just haunted.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, that's where the haunting comes in.
You never know. I would think so.
I mean, I kind of want to take an EVP meter in there, and
he's like, all you see is a lantern at night now, and then it disappears. It's like a story they'd hear from the locals.
Yeah,
like, I could just see it like that.
But I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not a hunter, so I don't get the whole idea.
I've hunted quite a few times.
I'm just not that guy. My buddy Hey, Joe, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for stopping by. My buddy lived in Bozeman for a while, and like every January he'd call me and be like, "Hey, man, you got to come up here and go hunting with me." I'm like, dude, it's negative 19 degrees. You can no, thank you. Well, you're out of your damn mind.
I would probably do it. But the thing is, that's like one of those stories like, yeah, he's just a Florida guy, just went up to Bozeman and never saw him again.
and that's where my disappearing story starts. That I went to Bozeman in 19. I know what happened to me. I froze to death. There's no doubt.
Oh yeah, dude, that's cool.
You ain't gotta look for me, dog. I know what happened. I'm frozen. I'm dead.
Well, that's the time where like, hey, we're gonna get on a snowball. We're gonna travel 45 miles into the woods, and then you run out of gas, and then you're
well, yeah, and he goes on like 4-wheelers, and he hunts like elk, which are like 10 times my size. I'm like, I'm not hunting elk. That hey, what am I gonna do if I kill it? Then I gotta like strip it and cut off what I want and take. It's just a whole problem, and it's 19 below zero, and that's not really the weather for that.
No, when I went hunting,
call me in August maybe.
I was a kid growing up. When we went hunting up north, that was like the last times I went hunting. But yeah, going into places like that, I mean. I wouldn't feel comfortable in the winter because, like what happens to your machinery if it just fails because everything eventually fails? Like, what's the backup plan? Oh yeah, we have no self-service. We got to get walking.
Well, that's the thing. Well, that's where like the GPS comes in at. Like, I'm certainly not going out there fully tacked out, bro. Like, I'm going. I'm going in like I'm hunting Osama bin Laden, bro. I'm gonna have 18 guns. I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be.
That just try to stay warm, because even with the clothing you have on, dude, that's way too cold. Like to be out there for that long. That's when you just make a fucking.
Yeah, and when you're hunting these huge animals, man, like it's gotta be just such predators. A chore just to. Because you don't take the whole animal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think. Most people don't. Well, I guess they do, but. Like a deer, you take the whole deer or whatever. But I think when they hunt these like elk and stuff, they take the antlers and they take the meat or whatever
and put them in there and put them on their backs.
I mean, you look at some of these like Canadian moose and stuff. The things are bigger than they stand taller in your car. Like, what are you gonna do with that?
They're like 14 feet tall.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I have to check to see because of moose, dude. They're no joke, man. When you see one on like. A size comparison, like there's no way an animal's that big.
That's what I'm saying. Like you see video of them like in people's yards and shit. I'm like, they can just stay in the yard. It's cool. I'm not,
Yeah. Okay, so they just stand, about 8 feet. That's just them on their legs.
So just standing on all fours, 8 feet.
8 feet. So yeah, you got to imagine the sheer size of that thing. You're like, what the fuck? Like the thing's built, you can't even get your arms around them because they're so big.
I ain't doing it.
No.
So the third one that was in the getting back to like the grouping of disappearances was 2017 in the same Santa Fe area. Hey, what's up, Sam? Sam from
Sam?
West Michigan Cryptid Research. I'm listening. I like that. I'm down. We'll get back to that. Stan Virgil, 10 miles away from where Mel Nadal went missing. He was driving his truck looking for deer on the side of the road. I've seen people do this. They do it around here. They'll drive around and they'll find a deer. They'll see it and they'll stop and get out and they'll take the shot. Most places it's illegal to do that, but like in Texas they do it, and like some people around here do it. And we're in South Florida. The deer aren't like huge deer down here. You know what I mean? Like they're not big deer. They're not Texas deer.
Size of like a black lab. They don't.
I don't know how big they are in Santa Fe, but so he's driving around. He finds a deer. He gets out and like gives chase to the deer, and he's just never seen again. He's just gone. And they said as he gets out of the truck, fog and rain starts hitting. Mm-hmm. They searched for 7 days. Professional trackers couldn't find a track. Helicopters had no luck. Like there was nothing. They eventually find him later, about 5 months later.
Dead?
Yeah, dead. Okay. With skull injuries and 2 broken ribs. 9 miles from his point of separation. It's just another weird disappearance. Like you're 9 miles away from where you got out of the truck to hunt a deer. How long are you chasing a deer to the woods, bro? Like, give it up.
You really want
if I don't get it within a mile, forget it, bro. Like that deer is meant to live.
So if he had like head injuries, I wonder, could have been a deer that attacked him. Because I mean, you never know. Antlers, those things will fuck you up.
I'm going with Bigfoot. I think Bigfoot hit him with a rock.
I would not think that. I would think more like a bear or something. No, not a bear.
In Santa Fe, I don't know what kind of animals they have in Santa Fe, New Mexico, but I can't imagine there's a lot of grizzlies wandering around Santa Fe. I don't know.
No, but I mean, there's predators.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, he's hunting deer, so there's obviously deer and things that hunt the deer there.
Yeah,
they kill the deer.
That's exactly it.
They took him 5 months to find him from 9 miles away.
That's crazy. He went 9 miles though.
Yeah, and you think about it, like that's a long way. It's a long way to walk, obviously, to wander through the woods. But I guess, it's not that long. 9 miles isn't really that long in the grand scheme of things. But
no,
from jumping out of your truck to shoot a deer real quick and being 9 miles away, that's a problem.
Hold on, I'll be right back. He leaves the car running. Yeah, just run into that deer.
And like he was with people. I don't know. They didn't say who he was with, but he was definitely he was with people. I'm like, no one said anything. Like, hey, maybe you shouldn't go chase that deer to the woods. Like, you ding dong. Like nothing.
He wanted dinner. That's
Everything.
All it was.
There's a show. I think it's called Lone Star Law. It's a show based out of Texas, and they show people hunting deer from like helicopters and shit. Like you can go pay people
with boar, like in Texas.
Yeah, boar and shit like that. You can hunt things from a helicopter. Listen, I can't hit something sitting still. Probably, I probably don't need to be in a helicopter.
Just imagine you get pretty good at it though.
Just throwing fucking shots downrange, just hoping for the best.
Well, those things are those are automatic guns. So you're like, I imagine it's probably like a tracer. You can kind of.
Well, they're not like fully out. Well, you can have fully automatic guns in Texas. You got to have a permit, but I think it's like the long guns, like the
rifles.
Scoped long guns that they But it's. I mean, I don't know. I'm not doing it.
I wouldn't.
You're lining up your shot and like you get a little bit of turbulence in the helicopter, you just fall out. Like how do you?
That's exactly it. Yeah, you just disappeared. I don't know. It's one of those.
You'll be able to find my body that day because I'll be at the bottom.
It's crazy how people just vanish like that. I've always watched those Vanish shows. Like there's even them on the Hulu. It's called Vanished, and there's I couldn't tell you how many seasons and how many people just vanish. But
when you talk about hunters and stuff in the woods, that's like what really is
smart people in the woods.
Yeah, you're talking about people that, most people that hunt have hunted all their lives. You know what I mean? Like that's usually the story, unless they move somewhere where they stop hunting. But
of where to go and land and
like at some point, people that hunt, usually are pretty good with where they're at. They know the area.
I agree, Joe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A lot goes wasted. I mean, I've seen like videos and stuff, people hunting and stuff, and a lot goes wasted.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you can, I mean, there's a lot of people that.
Let's just say the people that are really using all of that animal. Have you ever seen like 100 Days Out in the Wild? Those people that live out in like Alaska for 100 days.
Those people use.
They will use every piece of that animal. And there's this one guy that like he stabbed a bison. He ran up to it and stabbed it. Did you see that?
Well, I mean, bison are mean, bro. Like if he gets a hold of you, you're in trouble.
He took it down. He took it down completely. I mean, he lived like a king for the whole show. It was the funniest thing to watch. I'm like, this guy really just did that.
Well, when you watch like Off the Grid and stuff, those shows with like the Alaska bush people and stuff like that, like a lot of it's fake, but like people really live like that, dude. They hunt all summer and fill up their freezers, and they basically just try to stay alive during the winter. You know, they hunt.
It's not a bad way to live. They're just living like how everyone used to live.
And when you say off the grid, like they are off the grid. Like there ain't. I mean, they don't have electricity. They don't have nothing.
I mean, they're not going to a hospital. They're gonna die right there.
Well, see, that's what I would worry about. Like, that's my biggest thing during like an apocalypse. I'm like, what happens to all the hospitals? Like, what if I get hurt?
What if I'm having like a heart attack?
Yeah,
you're fucked.
Like I've had kidney stones before. Imagine being in like an apocalypse and just having a kidney stone and like, what do? You just fucking lay there and oh my god,
just constantly in pain.
Yeah, oh my god, it would be terrible.
But it seems. Well, the thing is, I think like the people out there that eat that way and live that way, they don't have any of the problems that we
don't
have
in the city.
Because they're eating very healthy, very lean. They're
very lean. They drink water. You know what I mean?
They don't drink. They don't eat any sugar.
Yeah. Like so, especially kidney stones. Like kidney stones come from like. Terrible
being
diets,
dehydrated.
Being dehydrated and terrible diets.
Yeah,
but if you drink water all the time, you won't really get kidney stones. But
it's like shit. Now they actually are living the healthier life. You know what I mean? They never need the doctors. Chop a finger off.
And they're all old guys. You know what I mean? Like they're all 65, 70 years old. And I'm like, don't you get tired of living that way? Like, I don't know.
There's purpose in it. It's no,
I mean you're right. It gives you a sense of purpose and it gives you like life meaning, I guess, if you're if you're into that. But I don't know. I would think when you get that old, like you got to go out every day.
Because I would like to live that way, but also have everything else. But you can't. Like I wouldn't want to just go out there and like you might as well just throw your cell phone away. Like it's not gonna.
Oh no, yeah. There's people ain't got no cell phones.
Yeah,
those people ain't got no cell phones.
No. Meanwhile,
most of them don't even have cars. Like a lot of them just use like 4-wheelers.
Well, they just use dogs. Like they'll
the guys that'll do like the
bobsledding or like the
dog sledding stuff. But like
they'll go to town in that, and it'll take them like hours to get there. I've seen it.
Oh no, when you go to town, like it's a real trip. You know what I mean? Like it's a day deal. Like you're not running to Walmart real quick. You're going to town.
And they get like 6-7 dogs on a fucking pulling you, and they're on like ice. They're just,
and you're and a lot of the places that these people live, you can only get to in and out of in the wintertime because of like the water being frozen and stuff.
Yeah,
like they use the lakes as transportation paths, and some of the places like you almost can't get out of in the summertime because the lakes are all thawed out. It's like ice road truckers, you see those guys driving those trucks on the ice roads.
Dude, I've seen it and there's water on it on top of the ice. I'm like, dude,
no
way,
bro, you're out of your mind.
Like, there's no way. Like, I don't think you could pay me enough to do that job because that would be the worst death ever to go down
those trucks. I would think that you might be able to get out of the truck in time. Like, depending on, I don't know. I would never have my seatbelt on. I know that. Like, the minute you hear the ice cracking, I'm jumping out, and I want to risk it that way. I guess
that water, you're dying in minutes from that water.
Oh yeah. You know, 30 seconds you're in that water, you're probably hypothermic.
Yeah, you're probably dead.
Like you're basically fucked at that point because you're not.
But if you see some of the things that they're holding on those trailers, I mean, we're talking like 30 tons.
Giant generators and like all kinds of things, and
concrete, fucking huge concrete.
Yeah, because they're going to these places that are in the Arctic Circle that they have no access to anything. In the summertime, they either got to helicopter it in, or you got to wait till winter when the ice road freezes over.
Oh, that's crazy. But those people are surviving and not going missing. The ones in the like.
No, it's hard to.
Well, the shows that I watch, like they never really say
it's hard to lose a semi truck, I think, but oh, maybe
you'd be surprised.
I guess maybe not.
I mean, they've lost quite a few things in history that are just massive. You know what I mean?
I think we got some nukes out there laying around somewhere that they can't
find. They just vanished.
Yeah.
Like, out of so many, there's just that many vanished.
I think that's what all the drone stuff about in Jersey and stuff. I think they lost a nuclear weapon somewhere and they're trying to find it.
Scanning it. Yeah, they're scanning
trying to scan for it or something.
That makes more sense why they would want to keep it secret and not have people freak out.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck about the drones. They just don't want people to know that there's nuclear material out there, you know?
Yeah, and the thing is
that.
And it then somehow made its way back into the United States.
Yeah, like imagine that fucking panic. Like you got a nuke in your city. Oh my god, dude. I mean, what I wouldn't even know what to do at that point. Like, I guess try to leave, but
I think if I knew there was nukes in like major cities, I would end up being one of those people that live out in like Bozeman or fucking where there's out there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean? Well, that's what I would. Yeah, that's what I would do. See, I think I could do it. I think I don't know. It was. I probably wouldn't die. I put it that way. If I wouldn't be a great life.
I got us 2 tickets to Alaska next week.
I can start a fire and kill things if I have to, but
yeah,
like I don't know. The thing is,
if we're pushed that far to do it, like, we're smart enough to do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's people in the world that wouldn't stand a chance. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
You take some people out of New York City that have been doing stock market all their life, and all of a sudden they're in the wild. You know, like they're going to be dead in 8 minutes. Like
a lot of people
shoot themselves or something. You know what
I mean? Like what we're talking like, like imagine Los Angeles or anyway, like people just don't do that.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I want to go to Alaska though. That's how we need to make that trip happen.
Yeah, I'd bring my bug out bag because I have one, a 72-hour bag. Be good in case anything happens. There's so much shit in there.
You get lost in Alaska, you're gonna need more than 72 hours though.
Oh yeah. But it has so many things in my bag where it's like, man, that's fucking handy. It's one of those.
Yeah.
Everyone needs one.
Yeah,
it'd be a good thing. Like, hey, if I have to fucking go and get in my car, I'm just gonna throw this bag in my fucking trunk.
Yeah,
it's one of those. Really,
problem is like you would never know. You never know what you need until you need it. Like, I mean, you get a good idea.
The situation happens.
Yeah, you get an understanding of okay, I need something to start fire with. I need some, some sort of weather protect, tarps and shit like that. Like the very basics.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I don't know. Once you run out of food and water, then what? Like then you really got to come up and learn how to.
You just have to get those straws that are purifiers. You can drink.
Yeah, the blue straws. Those things are cool, man.
So it doesn't matter where you're drinking it.
Yeah.
So I got those in my bag as well.
Bear Grylls uses those sometimes on that a survival show that he did.
Oh god, that's some of the things that guy has done, man.
That guy's a maniac, bro.
Oh, I've seen him do some raunchy shit.
That guy's a maniac. You know who else is crazy? Is that Les Stroud guy? He does a lot of weird shit.
Yep.
He's done a lot of Bigfoot stuff, or at least the last I heard of him, he was doing like a lot of Bigfoot investigations and stuff like that. I haven't
seen any of that. But I mean,
he did like a whole series. He did like 3 or 4. Well, I saw 3 or 4 of them. He probably did more. He was on like a big Bigfoot hunt for a while.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, imagine if it was taking those guys out.
Oh. I know, that's what I'm saying. But the way he approaches it is cool because he's like, oh, I don't know if it's Bigfoot or not, but I'm invested. You know what I mean? Like it's a very, open-minded. It's an open-minded approach to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
you just never know. As in, he's not pointing fingers; he's just giving options.
Right.
Hypothetical.
Which is good because when you go into things like more determined, like it's like religion or anything else. The more you look for it, the further away you get from the truth. You know what I mean? Because like you can't make everything you see a religious experience or everything you hear in the woods Bigfoot because you'll never find it. You know what I mean? Like you have to be able to differentiate between all these things.
I agree with that.
Some of these Bigfoot shows you get are like every bush rattling is you hear that? That's Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I'm like, easy, dude. It's windy out. Calm down.
See, I more believe in ghosts than I believe in Bigfoot. Just because of the evidence behind it. I mean, there's so much more evidence on ghosts.
I mean, yeah.
Like a legit, every time it's always a blurry photo. Every time it's always something like that.
Well, I don't know. It all depends. I think it depends on how you view the evidence. Like, you see a lot of the Bigfoot casts, which are probably very easy to fake. So you got to take that into account. Like, I
guess I won't believe until I personally witness something. So.
And a lot of people base it on hearing things in the woods, which, again, you're talking about, you can hear all kinds of things in the woods.
But, dude, have you heard like an elk at night? It sounds like a fucking person screaming bloody murder.
Yeah.
The thing is, you'll play tricks on yourself, not knowing what that noise is, what noise an animal can replicate.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to ruin anyone's fun saying I don't. Not believe it, but
last week I was with Tom from Beyond the Radar, and we talked about the East Coast. We talked to the East Coast Bigfoot guy.
Yeah.
David Benoit. The guy's super smart. Like he approaches it very much like I would, as far as I try to dismiss everything first before
that's what I do too.
Okay, it's Bigfoot. You know what I mean? Like, so his approach is very, very good. And so I like the way I want to get him on. I want to get him on again. So I told him I had like 5 more pages of questions to ask him, but we didn't get a chance to get there. But he's one of those guys where, like, if you want to talk about Bigfoot, he's the guy. Like,
yeah. Oh, that's nice when there's someone that has been doing it for so long that is educated, not someone that just wants to talk about it and blows, like, just they don't know what they're talking about. Like, there's people that just want that, but
and he has like whole groups and stuff, like a whole group that he does. It's called the East Coast Bigfoot Researchers Organization.
Does he go everywhere and look for Bigfoot, or is it just?
He's mainly in Virginia.
Oh, okay.
And I think West Virginia here and there.
That'd be a fun trip.
It was funny. It was interesting because we were talking. I asked him, like, because you always hear like certain regions that have Bigfoots. Like you have, Pennsylvania has a lot of Bigfoot. Florida has a skunk ape, and then like Northern California. So I asked him about like the difference between areas. Like, is there a difference between the East Coast Bigfoot and the West Coast Bigfoot? You know what I mean? Like,
be a good. Size difference or
yeah. And then basically, through his research, he came up with the fact that they're a little bit bigger on the West Coast by like a foot. I think he kind of came up with, and so you ask yourself, like, why? Like, why would there be a size difference? I mean, I guess genes and stuff like that. I mean, people have different sizes too, but generally, the average male is 5'7", 5'8".
Yeah.
Which you have some Shaquille O'Neals and some Peter Dinklages, but
yeah, exactly.
but for the most part, you're within a.
They probably have better genes than we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. Like you're probably right.
I would say some things that might be questionable, so I'm not going to say them. I mean, I think we're both thinking it, but.
Check out our.
I'm just saying, like, what do some of them have mental challenges? I don't know. Like, not in a bad way.
Are there any autistic Bigfoot? Oh God, I gotta ask them. Are there any autistic Bigfoots?
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like
retarded Bigfoots or something.
Like, not in a bad way. It's like that one had an extra chromie. I don't know. Just saying.
How do you know if it is though? Like, how do you know if you have a retarded Bigfoot?
It's the nose.
Oh, go to hell.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it like the distance between the eyes? Like, what is?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's a good question to ask them. Like, why are they all the same, or do they have problems just like us?
Oh man,
as humans.
But, oh god,
it's a good question. I mean, it's legit.
We just isolated like half of people.
Maybe
not my fault. You did this,
but these are questions that have to be answered.
I mean, those are the real questions that I want to know. I don't care what they smell like. Like, I get it. They smell like a dirty ape, but I want to get to the real, like, you know.
But are there like would their genes be the same where they can like they have problems like that with like humans? I don't think anyone's ever even asked that question.
I don't know. Have you ever found any retarded Bigfoots?
Oh my god! I just saw a Bigfoot in a wheelchair. You know what I mean?
Does that Bigfoot have crutches? What's going on here? He's got like the four. He's got the.
Dude, that was a club foot.
He's got the Forrest Gump leg braces on. Like
that's exactly it.
Does that Bigfoot have polio? Like,
but you never know. Never know.
We just lost half our viewers,
or we just gained a lot of people because now they want to know the question.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna start asking these questions
because I have seen a retarded tiger.
They do have tigers with like Down syndrome. Like
that's retarded tigers.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So there is species that are just like us. Like,
yeah.
So they have to have like. It's good. Good question.
I don't know. I'm curious. Somebody has to know.
I'm just saying, like, it's not that far fetched.
I don't know. I need to get him back. I'm gonna email him tonight. I'm gonna get him back on. I got a lot of real questions that people want to know.
As in you and me.
Really, it's just us. Everybody else is like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?"
He's probably like, "I don't want Tyler on my show." The first thing he says, "Won't do it." But it's like a legit question, though. Like, they have to have something wrong with them eventually. Like,
oh yeah, you would think so. It only makes sense. Like, there's something.
Well, first, I want them to catch one so I can believe it.
Well, right. That's my thing about Bigfoot. I want to know why anyone's caught one. I want to catch one. I'm gonna go to Alaska and catch one. I'm sure that's gonna end well for me, but
I can only imagine if we went into deep Alaska, it would be a rough one. It wouldn't be any like it would be fun, but also fucking dude, I would constantly be looking over my back always.
Well, they got bears and stuff that will eat you there.
Well,
like, they would just eat you. They don't even care.
I wouldn't be more afraid of the bears than I would the wolves.
You know, the wolves too, yeah.
Like, they hunt in packs, man, and they'll just fucking rip you apart.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think that's how most people go. That's how most people disappear.
Do wolves have Down syndrome?
Dude, guaranteed. Guaranteed. At least one of them.
You can't have a group of wolves and not a pack of wolves and not have one of them that are a little deep to deep.
But I'm saying, like, they all have
one in the back doing.
They're just deformed, maybe, but I gotta say,
is that one eating leaves?
Well, if there's this tiger, I imagine there could be a wolf.
Well,
that tiger does look hilarious, dude.
It really does look funny.
When I look at it, I laugh. Like,
everybody's like, "Oh, he's so I feel so bad for him." Like, he's probably the happiest tiger ever, bro.
Oh, guaranteed, dude. He has to be the happiest tiger because he probably doesn't think like a regular tiger. I'm not saying it. I didn't mean it in a bad way, but like, I'm saying.
I wonder if he could take care of himself in a wild. Like, if he was born in a wild, I wonder if he would be able to take care of himself. Like, I wonder how it affects him. It affects different animals.
I bet you that the parents of the tiger would know something's wrong and they'd kill it.
They would kill it. You think? Yeah. No, you're right. I think they would kill it.
I guarantee they would.
Because you don't see a lot of like. Well, I guess
just that one. Just that one.
That's the only one that made it. No, you're probably right though. They probably send something that would be.
The horrible part is now I'm going to go off and go onto Reddit and look up Down syndrome animals. So I'm just going to scroll. I want to see how far it goes.
Well, this is our last podcast, guys. But
it's not in a bad way. It's more of it's for scientific reasons,
for educational purposes.
Yeah, I mean now I'm wondering. That's where my head goes.
I'm getting David back on. I gotta find out now.
Oh yeah. When you ask, he's like, "Oh yeah, there's about 4 of them."
They don't howl. They like bark. No, you know what I mean? Like they do that howl.
Yeah, that's it. You know what I mean?
Oh, there he is. There's Pete. We found him.
Oh man. We don't call them Bigfoots. We call them Littlefoots.
Oh man.
You get over the sickness.
Oh god.
Dude, I've had it for over a week now. This fucking horrible. Oh,
it's probably your autism kicking in.
It might be.
Body can't heal it.
No. There's something right with that boy.
Something definitely right with that boy. What's that lion got a limp?
Yeah. I'm telling you.
You see that my ex-wife runs a dog rescue, a Chihuahua rescue in Texas, and they get dogs in all the time that have disabilities and stuff. Oh, they get hit by a car and they broke a leg, or like my daughter took one of the dogs in that was missing like the whole lower jaw because it got hit by a car, and like it couldn't eat solid food, so it had to like eat really soft food or drink whatever.
Yeah.
And this dog lived for 22 years, bro.
Those are 22 hard years.
It was older than my daughter, bro. The dog lived for 20, and they took it to the vet, and they're like, "Listen, like he's starting to get old, not really moving very well. Like we probably need to consider putting him down." And the vet was like, "Well, we can, but he's actually in really good shape, like physically, like he's actually healthy to where
he's struggling. Look at him."
I mean, he wore a diaper for God's sakes. I'm like, listen, he's not in that great a shape if he's wearing a diaper, bro. But like every other thing was good with him. Like his heart was good, his lungs were good. Like I'm like, Jesus, dude.
Yep, he's got a heart of a 6-year-old puppy right now. Fuck.
But even my daughter was like, I feel so bad for him. Like I really want to put him down, but like I just feel bad for him.
Yeah, and I would do at that point.
Yeah, I would. There's no fucking way.
No,
the dog was old as shit.
You just drive off to the side of the road and open the door, like, you're free, buddy.
You are free.
I'm just joking.
Good luck eating your no jaw.
Go on.
Go get.
Oh my god, I just saw a chupacabra.
Hey.
That's exactly what it
That's what a chupacabra looks like.
Yeah, I would say.
Like my ex-wife's personal dog is a little brown Chihuahua, but it was born with no front legs. It just had rear legs, and it had like its tail was growing like out of his chest. There was like a little tail out of his chest, and it's super tiny. And like she just carries it everywhere. That she puts it in her purse and just takes it everywhere she goes. Like this dog has to go with her because it can't fend for itself, basically. Yeah.
Does it?
But it's actually a cool dog. Like,
does the tail wag?
I don't think so.
Okay, it'd be funny.
Oh, that'd be creepy.
It would be really weird, man.
Look, his tail's wagging. Wait a minute, that's not a tail.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is terrible.
Like what we're talking about, dogs. This
born
with deformity.
This is
a great podcast. I made you laugh so hard.
Oh god, well, we're down to almost
deformities with animals and species, so there has to be a deformity. Yep.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like honestly, you're not wrong. There has to be, the odds are there's some sort of deformity in a Bigfoot somewhere that where he's born with like normal size feet.
Exactly.
He's a size 12.
Yeah, exactly.
he's just normal. Everything else is normal. Everything else is normal. He just has tiny feet. He's 8 foot tall, 500 pounds, and he has tiny feet.
Sixes.
And he has a woman size 6.
Yes. I'm telling you, there's got to be other. I would like to think it that way. Like, there's got to be deformities and everything. So.
God.
I'm going with that.
Oh, well, lucky it's 8 o'clock and this mess is over because
it's just beginning. But I'm telling you, that was a fun.
Missing people, Missing 411. Check it out. It's on Tubi. There's a bunch of different episodes. If you're looking for UFO stuff or missing people,
go into another one with another Missing 411 because there's quite a few.
There's a bunch of them. The guy's written like 8 books, and I think there's 7 or 8 that were turned into actual documentaries, and they're done pretty well. Like the guy's, and he gives a lot of his own thoughts to it, to where like, being an ex-detective and all that stuff, he's a smart dude, so he knows what he's looking for. So check him out.
Alrighty,
it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon also. I think you gotta rent it though, but Tubi, it's free. So, all right, we're done. Thank you all for hanging out. We will be back next Wednesday at 7 o'clock, 7 to 8. Yeah, there we go. And thanks for hanging out. We will see you guys later.